Hi, and welcome to Prepping Essentials. Good morning, it's 7:30 on Saturday the 20th of November. Just making my way down to the land, and as always, not quite sure what we're going to get done today, but let's find out. Well, here we are down on the land. It's a cool morning, but at least it's dry. We were forecast to have snow. There's a kestrel over there just hovering above the field. How nice is that? Yeah, it was forecast for snow this weekend. Fingers crossed we don't get any of that. That's probably the last thing that I want right now. But the trees are gradually losing all of the leaves. I've spent 2 weekends now clearing up. But looking across the grass, there doesn't seem to be that many have dropped. There's still quite a lot to come down at that end. Oh, I can see now, I'm starting to look. There's a big pile under that tree. Damn it. Yeah, there's a few to go there. How bizarre is that? That's one of my sweet corns. Or what's left of a sweet corn that I was trying to grow. Just goes to show nature will always get the better of you. Anyway, it's a bit too cool to be stood out here chatting away. So let me get in the cabin, get opened up, get the kettle on, and we'll see what today brings. Well, first things first, as usual, sort the chickens out. Bit of corn for them. They do like this mixed corn. And the little red one keeps hovering around my feet. Demanding special treatment. Steady. You would think they'd never been fed. You really would. Ah dear. They are funny birds. Right. Have a quick look. See what's in the coop. Not expecting a great amount. I cleared out on Thursday and egg production is down. So let's have a little look. Messy as usual. Plenty of mess to clean out. Nothing in there. 2 in there. Oh, looks like we're going to be short because they normally put everything in that one box. Nothing. Oh, hang on a minute. There's 3. Let's have some light. 4 in there. Wow. You've outdone yourselves today, chickens. They're normally all in this box. Oh, they're warm. Somebody's been sitting on them this morning. That is something that I would like to do at some point. I've got a lot of feathers in here. I think they must be molting. Yeah, at some point I would like to actually hatch some of these eggs. Messy birds. Water's okay. Food's okay. Right, let me get myself in the cabin and get that coffee on. It is cool this morning. Compost piles are looking very good. All those leaves I've been gathering up. At some point I'm going to move those 3 bays into that end bay. I did that last year, if you remember. It'll free up a bit of space ready for the new year cutting of the grass and just give that bay a chance to break down for another year. That's the plan anyway. I'm not sure what I'll get that done. I certainly won't get it done today. I'm on a bit of a mission with some jobs at the house today. But maybe tomorrow, we'll see. Anyway, I'm going to get sorted out in the cabin, get the coffee on. Well, it's the weekend. And it's a bit of a cold weekend. It's dry, thankfully. Lots of water in the ground, but we've had a little bit of rain this week, but not too much. The big worry for me really is it going to snow? Because it's forecast for this weekend. I'm hoping not. Lots of scare stories in the media about 6 inches of snow in a day. I don't know. It is where it is. We can't do anything but wait and see what happens. Wherever you are, wherever you're doing, I hope you're staying safe and well. And it is the weekend, so make sure you do take the time out to enjoy it. Enjoy the time away from work. Talking about work, I've been off this week. I've finished with my current job, and at the end of next week I'll be starting another job. So fingers crossed. You never know until you get there quite how it's going to be. So again, all I can do is hope for the best and prepare just in case it isn't all it's cracked up to be. So yeah, I've had a bit of time off this week. I've been really busy. I've not stopped at home all week. I've completely redecorated the house, ready for that to go on the market for sale. It's a long time since I did any painting in the house. I've done lots here on the cabin, which I guess has set me up well. I was prepared. And I didn't expect to finish it quite as quickly as I did, though I have spent every single day, all day doing it this week. But by the end of Thursday it was done. A little bit of tinkering on Friday, and a few other domestic chores, normal shopping routine. Even managed to wash the car. Unbelievable. So yeah, productive week, really productive week, and quite pleased with that. We'll see what happens next week. Still a few things around the land and the cabin, which I really do want to share with you, but unfortunately right now I can't. I keep saying it all will become clear. Little bit of a challenge for me, but we'll see how we get on with that. I will keep you posted, just not now, so bear with me. In terms of the big wide world, awful lot going on. It's knowing where to start. You would think it was the end of the world, but I guess the message in this video is it isn't the end of the world. We've got all the way across the world, from the Far East, China, all the way to the furthest west in America. Lots going on. Around China, China's got its COVID issues, it's having lockdowns. You might remember it told people to stock up on food for a year. Chaos ensued there, shelves were emptied, but it's gradually returning to business as usual. Lots in the media about China and Russia. It wouldn't be the world without the boogeyman, would it? And it keeps swapping between China and Russia as to which is the biggest boogeyman out there. So lots of saber rattling around South China Sea and Taiwan. Will China invade? Won't China invade? I'm saying not. I think I mentioned that in the previous video. Don't get swept up by all of the hype. I've seen an awful lot of hype on some YouTube channels, both here and in the UK and in America, about we're going to war with China, it's the end of the world, World War III. It's not. It's not. Yes, pay attention to what's going on because it could impact you. I don't imagine for a second that China is going to invade Taiwan anytime soon. Wrong time of the year for it anyway. We don't have wars in winter. Not if you've got any sense anyway. And the scary bit really could be that Western nations who have all piled loads of aircraft carriers and ships and troops into that region and are deliberately passing up and down, up and down, up and down, displaying their might. The danger is that you could have an accident. You know, our ship could crash into another ship and it all gets messy. But the real thing is China could just stop sending us stuff. And since the majority of stuff is made there, it wouldn't take much for them to just slow down that production and cause another global supply chain crisis. If Western peoples or Western powers spent as much time focusing on making stuff here rather than farming the jobs offshore to China or other countries, we'd be in a much better place than we are. So it's okay sending warships to the South China Sea and putting on a display of military might. If China turned the taps off, whether it's your consumable goods, whether it's foodstuffs actually, if they did that, it doesn't matter how big your army is. Your army is not in the factories producing your iPhones. So no, I don't anticipate that. The other boogeyman, Russia, they're always banging on about Russia's got warplanes out in the North Sea. They do every day. And by the same token, we send our warplanes to fly around Russian airspace or the edge of Russian airspace. It's just something that countries do, but sometimes the media just can't resist hyping up, we're going to war with Russia. No, we're not. Again, Russia is the biggest provider of natural gas to Europe. Thankfully not here in the UK, we get ours from elsewhere. So if Russia did want to be a pain in the arse, they just turn the gas taps off, especially now in winter, and Europe would freeze to death. They don't need to invade. So don't get swept up by all this hype about World War III. There is absolutely no reason for it, other than some governments might want to build up the military and throw a few more billion at the various defence manufacturers in order to stimulate the economy, create jobs, and pretend that everything is okay with the economy, which it isn't. Other things going on, I just mentioned COVID in China. Europe, major issues now with the fourth wave of COVID going through Europe. I did pop a little post in the community tab about Austria going into full-blown lockdown for the whole country. Germany's declared an emergency. Here in the UK, we haven't got an emergency, though the media would like to tell you we have, and government sometimes likes to tell you we have. But what we do have with COVID, which is really noticeable, big news story yesterday, I think, in Holland, the Netherlands. Massive anti-COVID restriction riots. It was a protest that turned into a riot. Loads of people injured, police opening fire, big mess. So you've got that combination of government crackdowns and civil disobedience or disorder, which you don't want to be around either of those if you can help it. Inflation rearing its head yet again. It's spiked up yet again in the UK. We're at 4.6%, I think. That's the official figure. It's way, way, way higher than that. You can double that pretty much. As we head into winter, the media is full of hype about Christmas, trying to distract everybody, focusing on Christmas cheer. I hope there is some this Christmas. I'm hopeful that we get a nice, quiet, peaceful Christmas, and that things do remain nice and stable and everything is in supply in the shops. I've got lots of plans of my own as we go through winter and into the new year, and I'll touch on that in a second. So yeah, lots going on. Across in the States, a trial finished yesterday. You might or might not remember, I don't know. We had all of the Antifa and Black Lives Matter protests in the US earlier this year, and indeed back end of last year. And by the way, it's not just Black Lives, all lives matter, whatever colour, creed, race, etc. So enough of the Black Lives Matter. Let's say that everybody's life matters and not get too fixated on one particular race, creed, colour, culture, whatever. But yeah, there was a big protest, demonstration, riot, call it what you want, depends what mood the media's in and which group is involved as to whether it's a peaceful protest, generally, or it's a riot. But anyway, there was a riot, people marching in the streets, the left-leaning, it was Antifa, left-leaning groups were charging up the road towards a group of right-wing people. They targeted one particular individual. There is footage in the media. For sure, that guy was going to get a good kick in and probably be killed. But he had a gun. And guess what? He opened fire, shot a few people, and the whole media was up in arms about how terrible this was. It was right-wing domestic terrorism, or words to that effect. And the intent was to hang him. Actually, they don't do that now, they lethal injection you. But yeah, they were going to convict him and kill him, essentially. And he didn't. The jury found him not guilty, and it was self-defence, which it clearly was, if you watch the footage. So anticipate more disorder. There was some late last night in a couple of cities. I think Portland was one of them, which is a hotbed of civil disorder protest from certain left-wing groups. So just watch that at the weekend. I suspect there will be more. The left side of the political spectrum was not happy at all with that result. Indeed, Mr. Biden said he was very angry at the result. And I thought he was supposed to be impartial. But yeah, so watch out for that. And if you are out there in the States, our American cousins, please do keep your heads down this weekend. It could get messy, particularly in the bigger cities. So there is still lots going on in the world, and it will be easy to fall into the trap of the world is ending and I'm just going to sit back and there's nothing I can do. And whilst that is true to a degree, there's not much that you or I personally can do to stop China invading Taiwan or stop the American or other Western powers kicking off another war somewhere, little proxy thing in some obscure country in some other part of the world. Nothing we can do about the weather. It's going to be what it's going to be. Mother Nature is in control, despite what the media would tell you. And economic-wise, there's nothing we can stop, nothing we can do to stop a financial crash, a housing market crash, inflation going up. We personally can't do anything to stop that. All we can do is try and prepare as best we can. So rather than going into a fear and depression, I think I've said this in a recent video, think about what you can do to prepare. Personally, me, you'll know all the way through this year and last year, I've just continually added to my supplies of food and other essentials. I've tried to draw down on debt, though that might be changing shortly. I've explored ways that I can personally save money, ways that I can be more self-sufficient, ergo planting my own crops, raising chickens, and hopefully next year honey from my bees. It's things I can do, things that are within my control. I don't need to go out and buy the latest iPhone, iPad, 55-inch plasma, HD, internet-ready TV, or these other things that people, some people, tend to focus on as being the most important things in their lives. I've tried to cut back on some things so that I can spend on other things. And that's the same thing with my house. I'm anticipating next year a bit of a market crash. Well, more than a bit of a market crash. So I'm actively looking to see what can I physically do to improve my position. The house is going on the market. It is going to sell at some point. And I will have that money in the bank to invest into something else. Perhaps a little more rural. Perhaps with a bit more land. Or perhaps with some more self-sufficiency. So solar power. Or some other form of alternative energy to get me off dependence on the mains grid. I'm actively spending my time exploring all these different options, and whilst I'm keeping an eye on what's happening, I'm not in a blind panic about what's happening. I'm not defeatist about, oh, there's nothing I can do, because there are many things that we can do. I'm even looking at obscure things in terms of additional income. It certainly isn't YouTube. I've started looking at things like cryptocurrency. Is there an opportunity? Because there's been a massive crash over the last few weeks. Prices have dropped dramatically, and yet the expectation is that towards the end of the year and as we go into next year, there's a potential. This is not financial advice. I'm not telling you to do anything. I'm just saying something that I've been looking at recently. There's a potential for a massive upspike in prices. So when it comes to investments in general, the general rule is buy at the bottom of the market, sell at the top of the market. So it's something I'm kind of looking at. I haven't got loads of money to throw at it, but it's surprising how even if a few $100s, pounds can quickly multiply if the conditions are right. And at the moment, we're at the bottom end of the market. So it's something that I'm just looking at. Other things that's going on, not much going on in the garden. My cabbages are turning into a cabbage forest, a bit like the tomatoes did last year. They've just gone crazy. I'll show you them shortly, because I'll be popping in the polytunnel to harvest a few more carrots. So I'll show you those. But other than that, not a great deal going on. I will pull a little red tractor out very briefly. I saw as I walked in, there's a load of leaves dropped again at the top. I'll just scoop those up and add them to the compost pile. If we do get more colder temperatures, and particularly if we do get snow, I'm not going to be able to collect the leaves. So I think I said it last week, it's not OCD on my part. I'm doing it deliberately to try and save myself from a more difficult task later on in the year or early next year. Anyway, that's about all I've got for you today. I hope that everyone is fine and well and staying safe, and I hope you do enjoy your weekend. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Is it too easy to get swept up into the blind panic with all of the fear-mongering that goes on in the media and on some YouTube channels? Or are you a bit more relaxed about it and focusing on things that you can do? And if you are focusing on things that you can do, what is it that you're doing to set yourself up for the coming new year and to put yourself in a bit of a better position? You know, are you thinking of moving house to somewhere more remote, more rural, more self-sufficient? Are you looking at changing your energy supply? Is anybody thinking about going solar or any other alternative form of energy to get you off that mains grid? Are you topping up your preps and buying now while things are available? And whilst prices are still affordable. Rest assured, inflation's not going away anytime soon, and prices next year will definitely be more expensive than they are this year. So what is it that you're doing? Help the community out, share your comments in the comment section on the video, let other people know things that you're thinking about doing or things that you are doing now other people might not know about. So pop them in the comment section. But whatever you are doing, stay safe and well, and I'll catch up with you as we go through the rest of the video. Well, that's the bedding cleaned out, floor cleaned out. I just need to clean that water out. I don't know how. I've only got 7 birds, but look at the state of that. I don't know how they can manage in the space of a week to get it so messy. And I do clear off the perch area or the nest box area twice a week, but it's amazing how much mess 7 birds can make. God help me if I had 70. Anyway, let's get this water cleared out and see where else we can get up to. Well, it wouldn't be the weekend without the greenery, would it? And as usual, little red ones here. Watch my fingers. They do like this greenery, they really do. I'll not be laughing if it gets my finger. What? Oh, cockerels come in. I've got a right plethora of birds round me today. Watch my fingers. Oh dear. Right, come on then. Enjoy. I've got things to be doing. Well, I did promise you a quick run round. There's nothing really in the garden room. I've got a couple of potatoes in that bucket. I'm not sure if they'll come or not. The other ones are hanging in there. Strong growth on that one. This one struggled a little bit, got hit by frost. That one died off because of the cold. But I've got a little baby one to sprout in there. Which is a bit of an experiment, this. I'm not convinced that they'll come to maturity. It's just the wrong time of the year, but let's see what we get on. Cabbages are certainly, they've gone absolutely crazy. Masses of growth on these. I might be tempted to pull one of those soon. Just, cabbage is something I don't have a lot of, but if you fry it up, it's very nice. Nothing at all in the raised beds, obviously. And the only thing that's left in the polytunnel is the carrots. Everything else is dying back. Well, not dying, but going to sleep for winter. All the blueberry bushes, fig tree, they're all into winter hibernation mode. Carrots, I've got loads and loads. I'm going to pull some of those. In fact, I'll do that now. I'll just get the tripod set up and I'll pull a couple of buckets and you can see what's in there. Well, let's take a look at some of these and see what we've got. There we go. A lot of small ones, which would be nice for the chickens. Yeah, quite small this bucket. Nice for salads. Lots for the chickens. I think these could have been done with being thinned out. Because there's an awful lot of baby ones. Really baby ones in this bucket. But I'm sure the chickens won't be complaining. Yeah, there's the odd one, sizable, but majority of them are quite small. It's knowing which ones I want and which ones the chickens can have. I suspect the majority of this bucket is for the chickens though. Yeah. Lots for the chickens, not very many for me. There's certainly a lot of them in here. I think lesson learned, thin out. The trouble is, you look at the bucket and you think the object is to grow as many as possible, which is partly true. But at the end of the day, the idea is to feed me, not to feed the chickens. Is that a bit harsh? So, lots for the chickens, not so many for me, but it's not like we've got a shortage. Bloody slugs, I keep seeing slugs. The chickens will enjoy those as well though. Let's take a look in this one and see what we've got. Look at all these slugs, there's millions of them. It's certainly been the year this year for pests. Now then, we're a bit better off in this one. A bit better off in this one, look. These will certainly come in for me. Yeah, this is a better bucket. Much better bucket. It's kind of pot luck really, you don't know. Because I've treated them all exactly the same. It's just that some are better than others. See, there's actually some quite decent sized ones in this one. Not bad at all. And again, lots for the chickens. Anyway, let me finish going through this bucket and I'll show you what we've got at the end. But there are some quite decent ones in here. Nothing wrong with those. Nothing wrong with those at all. Anyway, let me get cleared up and I'll show you what we've got at the end. Well, that's what we've ended up with. Got a pile for the chickens there for them to enjoy. Lots of them in there, and a little tray for me. And to be fair, there's some quite nice sized ones in there, so I can't complain. Not bad little harvest. Well, there we go, that's the chickens happy. Extra greenery they weren't expecting. A little carrot harvest bounty for them. Well, that's the little red tractor out. I'll just give it a quick run up the top end of the field where those leaves are. There's not a great deal across this wooded area, but that far end has got little bits, so I'll get those picked up and that's another job done. Well, hopefully you can see where I've been. Oh dear, there are a lot of them, but it's gradually picking it up. So another 10-15 minutes should be done. And that's another little job done. As usual, Little Red Tractor's done a sterling job. Hopefully you can see where I've been. Not as many as last week, but if I just keep on top of it, it'll save me from much harder work later. And I don't really want Little Red Tractor to be struggling to pick up, you know, 6-inch deep piles of leaves in the middle of winter. So let's get this box emptied out onto the compost pile and we're about done, I think. Well, that's a good job done. Compost piles are all full up. I dumped a load of shavings out of the chicken coop on there as well this morning. So, fingers crossed we'll have a load of decent compost next year. Well, that's it for another day. It is a bit cool today, the wind's picked up, and I don't know, this sky, is it going to snow or is it just a bluff? I honestly have no idea. Anyway, I'm not going to hang around to find out. Get myself back in the car and get off home. Everything's locked up. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, I hope you're staying safe and well and enjoying your weekend. And I'll catch up with you again shortly. Well, that's it for this video. I hope there was something in there that was of interest to you. If you did like the video, please do click on the like button. Also feel free to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. As always, I welcome any comments, questions or suggestions you might have. No, it's not the end of the world as we know it, but things certainly are set to be a little bit different this year, so wherever you do, get yourselves topped up with your preps, plan a little bit ahead and try and figure out how you can put yourself in the best possible position you can be to deal with what will be coming in the new year. Whatever you are doing, let me know in the comment section below, but for now, thanks for watching and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.